We are live.
Okay, you should be live. Oops.
Live. Oh, thank you. All right, take it away, Miss Norman. Thank you so much.
Right. Good evening, parents and friends, and thank you so much for your patience. We welcome you this evening, and we appreciate you joining us here online and on Zoom. We welcome you to elementary parent empowerment session. And indeed, this will be a great empowerment session for you. So on behalf of the I'm a Star Foundation, under the direction of our CEO, Ms. Betty C. Brooks Burney, and the Duval County Public Schools, once again, we'd like to thank you for tuning in with us this evening. We are going to provide you with some information that we hope will empower you during this season of crisis and pandemic. We hope to provide you with information that will help you to ensure that your child will have a year full of fun, learning, and adventures. So we're going to begin this evening's empowerment session by showing you a very powerful video that we hope will perk your interest and also motivate you to think about yourselves as parents. At this time, Ms. Manye Dawson is going to present this video to you. Ms. Dawson.
Thank you, Ms. Norman. All right, so I'm going to share my screen.
Everybody can hear that. Everybody in here can hear that.
A great parent is not the one who gives the most money, not the one who gives the most toys, not the one who gives the best place to live. A great parent is the one who gives attention. To be a great parent, all you need to do is be present with your child. Not give presents, be present. That's all kids really want. They want you to notice them, to be loved, to be wanted. The best parent is the one whose eyes light up when their child enters the room. The parent who makes a promise to love unconditionally. The parent who leads by example, not by what you say, but by what you do. Kids will never pay attention to your words. They will always and only pay attention to your actions and your intentions. A great parent works on themselves. A great parent makes their own mind strong, knowing their kids will likely follow in their footsteps. Heal yourself. Make your own mind strong, so your children can see the clearest example of what a great life looks like. Setting a clear and strong example of what type of human being you want your kids to become starts with you. It's up to you to set the example of kindness and compassion toward others, to set the example of what it is like to be yourself, to set the example of living a magical life that you choose. That's what a great parent does. Set their child free. Allow them to be themselves. Allow them to make their own decisions. Live your life in such a way that when your kids think of kindness, compassion, strength, authenticity, and real joy, they think of you. A great parent knows not to allow anything in their life they don't want their children to reproduce in their lives. That includes toxic relationships. That includes bad habits. That includes making decisions based on fear. A great parent listens. They don't lecture. A great parent supports, never shames. A great parent guides and sets free. Being a parent is not a job, it's a privilege. Being a parent is not a burden, it's a blessing. They are always watching. What kind of role model will you be for your children?
All right, so I think in the meantime, we've had another parent to join us. Miss Barbara Eston. If you could unmute for us and share with us your baby's name.
Yes, ma'am. Miss my daughter Burney Walker.
All right, and the video gave us a lot of tips about being an awesome parent. Was there anything that jumped out at us, parents or anyone who's on the call, about some of the things that was said?
No, ma'am.
Okay, Miss Hardy, anything that grabbed your attention in particular? Okay, we can't hear you on mute.
Unmute. Yes, it was saying that being a parent is joy.
It
in
is.
Which it is. It is. Your kids can give you joy all day.
Yes, ma'am. One thing that stuck out to me was that a parent leads by example.
Yes.
So later on tonight, when we have another presentation for you, and I'll give you some tips on how to lead by example throughout the times of coronavirus. So stay tuned.
Ms. Dawson, thank you for that very powerful video. Even though I've seen it several times, each time I see it, I learned something more. The video reminds us that a great parent is a parent who gives attention. And of course, that jumped out tonight because Ms. Hardy has 4 children here. So she's certainly taking time to give attention to those 4 children. And that makes her one of our great parents. So tonight, once again, we want to welcome you to our parent empowerment session, and also welcome any additional parents who joined us. Also, welcome Mr. Hank Rogers, who is our COO. He's our Chief Operations Officer for the I'm a Star Foundation. We want to welcome him also. So as we continue, parents, as I said, our main purpose is to provide you with information that we hope will empower you during this time of crisis and pandemic, during this COVID-19. So we're not just thinking about the students, we're also thinking about you. So at this time, we want to provide you first with some tips that we hope will help you to rest and relax and thrive during this time. So coming to assist you with some coping tips will be Ms. Victoria Perry, who is the STAR Mentoring Coordinator. She is the coordinator for our elementary schools, our STAR Mentoring Coordinator. You have probably heard her name from your children. Probably you've talked to her yourself. So at this time, it gives us great pleasure to present to you Ms. Perry. Ms. Victoria Perry will come with some tips to help you rest, relax, and thrive during this time. Ms. Perry?
Thank you so much, Ms. Norman. First, thank you, parents, for joining. It always warms my heart to see parents join after I talk to the students and hype up what I'm going to start is. So I'm so grateful that you guys are all here. So just a few tips of dealing with COVID and stress. And now we're in the holiday season. So it's like on 10 right now. So my goal, I would definitely say a goal for me this holiday season, I have decided to release the things that I cannot control. So we can't control this pandemic. We can't control what's going on. All we can do as
Yes, I'm
ourselves is
having.
follow
She ain't
the
gonna fall.
guidelines and do what we're supposed to do. Also, some ways to release stress, to release anxiety, because kids get stressed just as well as adults get stressed. So one thing we can do to release stress is maybe go for a walk outside. Maybe we can find a journal, write in our journals. Maybe we can just put our phones down for a little bit. I turn my phone off for an hour a day, and I don't answer any calls, any emails, no social media, and I just let my mind reset itself. Our body is such a powerful organism, and it does so much great work if we allow it to. So my number one tip would be to honestly just let your body reset, let go of everything, release, take a moment to just chill out and relax. Maybe play some games with your kids, like, old school games that we play with our hands, simple, easy games like that, just to release and just let go of everything that's going on. So hopefully those tips help. What I can do is text you guys some more tips via text so you guys can have them to reference back to them in the near future. Okay.
Yes.
Awesome.
Thank you so much, Miss Perry. I always learn from you also. So I'm going to reset here. And as I reset, we're going to move right on along. Parents, don't forget to sign in the comment section. Be sure and sign in. Now we're going to move forward because we do value your time. We value you. And so now we're going to present to you the focus of this evening's session. It is, of course, surviving the beginner's guide to exploration. And this intriguing section will be presented to you by Ms. Manye Dawson, the one who set up our presentation tonight and who's hosting along with our CEO, Ms. Burney. Ms. Dawson is our student success coordinator for our high school, but she's also the sub mentoring coordinator for our BTS elementary school and our middle school. So she is going to present to you the focus of this evening's parent session, survival, a session that I'm sure that you will enjoy. Ms. Dawson.
All right, thank you, Ms. Norman. So I'm going to share my screen again. And Ms. Hardy, if you could go on mute just briefly for us.
Okay.
Thank you. And I will go ahead and start. There we go. Okay, we got someone else entering the waiting room. So I will go ahead and admit them. Okay, slideshow. Right, so the beginner's guide to exploration. This is a new territory for all of us as parents going into learning from either home or at brick and mortar schools during a pandemic. So when it comes to any new uncharted territory, you need an explorer guide. All right, so we are here to give you some quick tips and tricks on how to navigate this new territory that we all find ourselves in. So the first thing you'll need, and I'm sure, I believe you guys got these handy dandy exploration bags that were in the camouflage. Did our students get these?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. All right. So some of the items, well, all the items that are in there are in this presentation. So if they want to go ahead and grab the bags really quickly, they can pull out some of the items along with me and we can have some audience participation. So the first thing they're going to need is a roadmap. And in those bags, they may look a little bit different Can everyone see my thumbnail in addition to the PowerPoint presentation?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I tend to hold up things in the middle of it. So the first thing you're going to need is a memo pad. I think your bags may have come with one that is in the form of a book, but mine is like a sticky note.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So a memo pad can be used for different reasons or different things. It's not just for parents. And when we showed the previous video, it said it apparently leads by example. Well, one of the things that our kids get from us are our organizational skills. So if they see us being organized and staying on top of things, then they're going to follow suit in school and at home. So on a memo pad, you can list your goals for the week. You can list school information. You can list accomplishments that they've done. We're going to talk about using a planner a little bit later, but this is just something that you can have on hand to jot down quick things in. All right. When your child uses it, they can use this for anything. If I have more than 2 things on my grocery list, I have to write it down. So not only does this promote organizational skills, it also promotes handwriting or better handwriting. It promotes good spelling techniques, because if I can't read what's on the memo pad, you're going to have to write it over. It's the holiday season coming up. So if any of the children are writing their list of wants and needs for Christmas, it has to have good handwriting and it has to be spelled correctly. So this is one of the things that we can do as a teachable moment for our kids, making them list things that they need. Also with your roadmap, school information. Because of the times of coronavirus, schools are less likely to send home things in flyer form. We're used to checking book bags and notebooks and seeing all the information written down, where schools nowadays are sending things via email. So one thing that we have to do with our roadmap is to make sure that our schools have our updated contact information. One of the things, a roadblock, sort of say, that the I'm a Star Foundation runs into when we're trying to contact parents is that sometimes either the email address or the phone number is incorrect. And it either takes us to someone else who now has the phone number, or it's disconnected. So a quick phone call to the school and they can update your information. Always just call just to make sure that they do have your information on file, because you may have said, well, I sent them my email. If you call and the front office person says, well, oh, no, we don't have it. It's just a quick phone call. So make sure all your information is up to date. Make sure you have a backup phone number as well, and maybe a backup email. So if you have a personal email and a work email, make sure they're both on file so that you're not missing any of the information that the school is sending home. Another thing that you can do on your memo pad is set a schedule. I mentored with the Bridge to Success children today who are in the middle school. And one thing that I told them to do, they didn't like this piece of advice very much, but as soon as you come home, do your homework right away. So on your schedule, you might say if school gets out at 3, from 3:30 to 4:30 or 4:45 is homework. 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock is family time. 6 o'clock is dinner. 6:30, you should have your shower by then. 7 o'clock, TV time. So whatever your schedule is, make sure that you write it down and you follow it as closely as possible. I know sometimes sticking to a schedule is a little bit crazy and hectic nowadays, but as long as you have it written down somewhere and you at least try to practice it, then your child becomes in the habit of doing things. Some of the things, the reasons that I say do homework as soon as you get home is that the information is still fresh in their minds. The teacher probably just assigned it less than an hour ago, but if they come home and get on the TV or get on the computer, it's not as fresh. And when it's not as fresh, well, now you have to go look through the book for the answers. Now it takes you longer to do it. So on the flip side, the kids get done with the homework faster, so they have more free time. So you kind of have to give them little incentives when it comes to that and make them see the reason behind it. The next thing is a compass. Now, if I lost my compass, which is my planner, I got a nice one for 2020 to 2021. If I lost this, I would not know what to do at all. I was born and raised in Jacksonville, and if I did not have my GPS, I still couldn't tell you where anything was unless it's close to a restaurant. So everybody needs a compass. You have to know your ups from your downs, lefts from your rights, and all your directions. So your planner is here to do that. Now, if any of the children have planners or even a smartphone, or a smart device, you can put a calendar and reminders in there. So if you open up your calendar, and I'm a visual learner, so I like to write things down. I have to have it in my face in order for me to memorize it. So I color coordinate my calendar. I have all different types of colored pens, highlighters, sticky notes that I can put in here to help me visualize things. I'll get into the habit of keeping a planner. That way, if they know they have an assignment that's due on Friday, well, it's just Tuesday. You have time to do it. If you look in your planner and it's already Thursday, all your days are gone. So have them start to practice doing things in advance and seeing when things are coming. I put everything in my planner, from doctor's appointments to birthdays. So it doesn't always have to be just about school. They can put their friends' birthdays, their family's birthdays, anything else, or different doctor's appointments that they might have coming up. One thing that I do as soon as I get my planner for the year, I go on the Duval County Schools website and I write down all the holidays, all the weather days that we have off. Back when they were doing them last year, I wrote down all the early release days. So nothing catches me off guard. So if you have a compass, AKA your planner, you always have a direction that you're going. So it keeps you very organized and nothing can catch you off guard. And you can be prepared for whatever's coming up. Another thing that acts as your compass is your child's focus account or your children's focus account. You actually, as a parent, you have, there's a link on duvalschools.org for you to create a parent focus account. If you're unsure how to do it, your child knows how to do it. They can log you into their own focus. Focus has their grades, Focus has their schedule, and it also has their teacher's contact information. So if you go to their different classes, if you see the teacher's names, as soon as you click it or press it on your smart device, it gives you a link directly to their email. So if you need to contact a teacher, all the information is right there. So if you see that your child is struggling or if they need a little bit of extra help, you can always contact that teacher. The next thing in our pack is our protective gear. So since we are, again, in the times of coronavirus, I made sure to include in some of these packs face masks. All right, so your child always has to have a face mask. Keep them with a small bottle of hand sanitizer. If you want to go the extra mile and get them a face shield, that works as well. The thing about face masks, if your child is kind of sort of struggling to like them, they come in all different shapes, all different sizes, so you can get them customized as well. Now, the ones that I'm holding up are just the disposable ones, so please make sure they're not using these more than once. So as soon as they come home, these go in the trash. If you get the cloth masks, though, however, make sure you're washing them regularly so they stay germ-free. One thing that goes on my list as a schedule for my daughter, as soon as she steps foot in the house, she takes a shower. She gets out of the clothes from the day and she goes immediately to the shower. So that's on the schedule. She knows not to pass go or collect $200 before she gets out of those school clothes. So please make sure you send your child to school safely and prepared with hand sanitizer. They even have these neat things that I recently discovered. If the school doesn't have soap dispensers, they have these soap sheets that you can buy that go right in their pockets or in their book bag, and all they need is running water so they can quickly soap up their hands and they stay safe that way. The next thing is a first aid kit. So when you think of first aid kits, you think of, oh, ouch, I got a scrape, I got to slap a Band-Aid on it. Well, our first aid kit for our parent survival guide isn't necessarily for cuts and scrapes. It's for motivation. All right. Some of the things that I put in there include candy, because these are different times and kids do get burnout from school and other things that they have on their minds. Ms. Perry gave an excellent tip about making sure that you do different things to calm your child's anxiety, taking control of things that you can control, leaving the stuff to the side that you can't, taking a social media break, but also motivation. So if you use your memo pad and list some of their accomplishments, or if you list some of the things that they want to accomplish by the end of the week, so say passing grade in science. So if you bring home an A or a B, you get a reward. Rewards do not always have to be candy because dentists can be expensive. It can be anything from doing a family craft together to having extra TV time or video game time. My daughter made me some handy dandy binoculars. So this was a craft that we did for the parent survival kit. So it's a lot of different things, free resources that you can find on making incentives for your child. The holidays, again, are coming up. So there are tons of crafts that you can do that are holiday themed. So always make sure your child stays motivated and focus on the positives. All right, we don't want to focus on, oh, you didn't do this time, or how could you miss that question? We studied it. Focus on the things that they do get right, because children do get anxiety. Also have mental health checks. So on your schedule, with your handy dandy memo pad, if you have a block of time for family time, take that time to ask them how they're doing. And don't just take fine, I'm good as an answer. Really get into how they're feeling, because sometimes as parents, we focus so much on how our mental health is doing, we forget that kids, they go through the same problems as well. So we have to make sure that we're checking in on our children and making sure that their mental health is okay too, because they feed off of us. And again, a great parent leads by example. So if we're spazzing out, they're going to tend to do the same. So we got to make sure that we check in on them as well. Your adventure pack, that's this really cool camouflage bag and all the things that are in it. But on the flip side of that, the adventurers pack is their backpack, because the kids have to come to school prepared. One of the lessons that I taught today in mentoring was step number 2 on my 8 action plan. You have to come to school prepared. I told them to switch up their frame of mind. If you're an adult and you go into a staff meeting totally unprepared, you just bring yourself and your phone and your earbuds, your boss is going to look at you like you're crazy. They're going to say, well, where's the reports? Where's your stuff? What are you doing? And the kids were like, you're going to get fired if you do that. I'm like, so what happens when you go into somebody's classroom with no paper and pencil? Your teacher can't fire you, but it is going to hurt your grade. So in a sense, it's not the teacher failing you, it's you failing yourself because you came unprepared. So one thing that we can do as parents is make sure that we pack the bags the night before and double check them the morning of before they go to school. So just do a quick check. You got your paper, got your pencil, and make sure that their homework is in their bag. One of the most heartbreaking things that can happen to a child is them to have that study block of homework, do all this work on it, and then leave it on the kitchen counter where they did it because it's not in their book bag. And then the teacher say, well, I don't know if you really left it or if you just need an extra day. So they're probably not going to get their full credit when they do turn it in late, if the teacher allows them to give in late work. So please make sure your child is prepared. Another quick tip for parents, make sure you have a set of supplies at home and a set of supplies for school. Because if you send them to school with all of their supplies, supplies tend to sprout legs, supplies tend to get left in desks. So by the time they come home, it's like, well, where's all your paper? Well, I let John borrow it, or I left it in my desk. I didn't think I'd need it. So now they can't do their homework, or either you have to make a late night trip to Walmart because they don't have any supplies. So keep paper and pencils at home. In my junk drawer, when my daughter was smaller, she said, Mommy, I need a pencil. I'm like, ooh, all I have in here are screwdrivers and pens. Like, what am I going to do with this? So I had to learn pretty quickly that you got to keep some number 2 pencils at home and a pencil sharpener. I just invested in a really good pencil sharpener from Amazon, so we won't have any broken pencil problems. So make sure you're prepared at home and at school. And the last thing, every good adventurer needs a travel diary. I've never heard of any type of scientist, doctor who doesn't take good notes or doesn't keep good notes. So as parents, we have to do the same thing and keep good notes. And by notes, I mean keep a log of everything that you do. So if you do go on that Focus account and you do decide to email a teacher, print it off and put it in your parent folder. All right. If you have more than one child, get you a 3-ring binder and put some dividers in it. And you can have a divider for each child. If you have children in different grade levels, if you have one in elementary school and one in high school, the divider thing works well too, but sometimes you might want to have separate notebooks depending on what your organizational habits are. If you know you need everything in one notebook, maybe you need a 3-inch binder instead of the 1-inch, or maybe a 2-inch binder. Maybe you need more dividers depending on what levels your children are in. So in addition to a parent-teacher contact log, and if you don't have the access to print anything out, take you a piece of paper and write down the date and time that you sent the email and a brief description about what it was pertaining to. The same thing if you make a call to the school, get the person's name who you spoke with. So you want to be like, well, I spoke to that lady in the front office. Well, who is that? We don't know who took your message. So make sure you jot down different things. You don't have to go into detail, but make sure you have the date, the time, who you spoke with, and what you spoke with them about. If you leave a message, the same thing applies. Write down the date and time that you left a message and what your message was about. That way, when you call or get a call back and you say, well, oh man, I forgot what I even wanted, it's written in your travel diary or in your parent folder. Another reason for your parent folder, keep your shot records, physicals. If your child is in any after school programs, make sure you keep their applications in there. If you have any educational documents such as IEPs or 504 plans, always keep a copy of that with you. That way, when it is time for a parent-teacher conference, or if you have to, for whatever reason, have a conference with administration, you have all your records right here. Report cards, progress reports, the same thing. Keep a copy of all of that in your parent folder and you will never show up unprepared. Always keep your receipts for everything, especially when it comes to your child's education. That way your child will say, well, hey, my mama is on it. She keeps all the receipts. So then your child will start keeping the receipts too. So on the off chance that a progress report comes back unsatisfactory and the teacher is saying, well, oh, you're missing assignments. One strategy that I give all of my students, no matter what grade level they're in, is to keep a homework log, because homework is worth a lot of points. There are some kids who have bad test taking anxiety. So the only way that they really stay afloat in class is to make sure their assignments are done, their homework is done. So what I have them do is write the date, the description of whatever the assignment was, the homework piece, and then as soon as they turn it in, have their teacher sign off on it. Well, okay, you said I didn't turn this in. Well, here's your signature right here. You have to give me a grade for it. So that's another strategy that the kids can pick up from learning from your organizational habits. And that is it from me. Are there any questions or any tips that any of the parents can add to anything that was said? Or do you think you'll use any of the strategies mentioned? You have to unmute yourself so I can hear you.
Yes, I will, because I need the help. Because I got 4. So.
All right. Yes, ma'am. So make sure you get you a thick binder and
yes, because I definitely forget.
Yes, ma'am.
So that will help me a lot if they tell me when they come and I can write it down. Because 2 days later I done forgot. No, I'm gonna say 2 hours later I'll be done forgot. So that I never thought about it. Yeah, just write it down to remind myself. So that is a good help.
Thank you. I'm glad. And then if you keep the memo pads with you, you always have something to write on, and make sure you have a pen or something to write with if you have a pocket planner. I even have this big giant planner. I haven't taken it out the
That's what I need.
Yeah. So I have this one for come January. This is what I'm going to keep all of my stuff on, and I'm going to color coordinate it too. So if your children are visual learners like I am, if they love to draw, if they love colors, make sure you get them a set of highlighters in their favorite colors, a set of Post-it notes in their favorite colors. And that way they're likely to remember their notes that they write down.
Yes.
And go back in their books, especially if it's science or history, have them highlight the words in bold and the vocabulary words and the dates. And I guarantee you that's the exact stuff that's going to be on their quizzes and tests. So if they say, well, oh, my favorite color is pink. Well, here's your pink highlighter, get to highlighting. And then as a parent, what we can do is go back and quiz them on the stuff they highlighted. So to make sure that they're not just, you know, scribbling lines all over the page, we can go back and check it with them and have a discussion about it, and it sticks better because they can see it, they've done it, they've talked it out, and it appeals to all the senses. So those are some more tips for it. All right, if there aren't any questions, I'll send it back over to you, Ms. Norman.
All right, thank you so much, and thank you, parents. I could feel the excitement in the air and felt that you two learned quite a bit that will enable you to just become even greater parents during this pandemic. Just one important date we want to remind you about, our progress reports were given out on last Thursday. Progress reports were given out on last Thursday. So it's a good opportunity for you to review where your child is and set your goal for where you want your child to be at the end of this quarter, which ends December 18th. So as you joined us tonight, we thank you for receiving those tips that we know will assist you in becoming an even greater parent. Once again, we want to thank each of you for tuning in this evening. Our guest school is the Martin Luther King Jr. Elementary School, whose principal is Miss Gentry and whose counselor is Miss Payne. We certainly want to thank those ladies for assisting us with our elementary program. Once again, we'd like to salute the founder and CEO of our I'm a Star program, who believes in the star quality in your children. The S, of course, T-A-R, your child is a star. Okay, yes. Smart, talented, and resilient. Don't forget that it doesn't matter what they're doing or how they're acting. We know that we're working with them to pull out that star quality. So we want to once again thank our CEO and acknowledge our CEO, Ms. Betty Burney, our COO, who will give a few remarks in a minute, Mr. Hank Rogers, and also our administrative assistant who's on with us, Ms. Evelyn Kennebrew. Okay, Ms. Perry, would you like to make any remarks as we come to an end? We know that parenting is really a tough situation, a tough position for us to be in, especially these days, and of course it has become even tougher. So we thank you for all that you do to assist our parents in helping to thrive during this pandemic. So Ms. Perry, would you like to give any closing remarks along with Mr. Rogers before we end this evening?
Just want to say thank you to the parents and to the students for telling their parents about our parent night. It's like I said, it really warms my heart to see you guys engage and be involved because it's really good information. And I'm just excited to work with your students at Martin Luther King. So I'm excited to see what happens.
Okay, thank you so much, Ms. Perry. As we said, she is our star mentoring coordinator for our elementary schools, and we're happy to have Ms. Perry and to have her working with your children. Mr. Rogers, did you want to close us out?
Well, Ms. Norman, I thank you and I thank our wonderful staff for an amazing job that you all did tonight, engaging our parents. Again, we believe that every student is smart, talented, and a resilient student. And parents, if you have any questions, even after this call, don't hesitate to reach out to our staff or Ms. Perry for further assistance as she helped guide you along with your child through these unique times as we deal with COVID. With that being said, thank you all again for joining us for tonight's call. On behalf of, again, our CEO, Ms. Betty Siebert Burney, and we look forward to working with you and your child in the future. Ms. Norman?
All right, be sure and sign in now so that we can contact you. I'm sure that Ms. Burney is going to have a drawing for all of you in attendance this evening. So be sure and sign in so that we can have your information. And once again, we want to thank you for sharing with us tonight. We know that parenting has always been tough, but has become even tougher. And hopefully tonight's information will make things just a little bit easier for you. Thank you so much and have a good evening.
And thank you. You also.
Thank you.
All right. Good evening.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Ms. Burney is in here with us. Want to acknowledge once again our CEO and founder, Ms. Betty Burney. Thank you so much, Ms. Burney.
When I get up, because there is somebody else won't be somebody because I guess that's it.